Welcome to Bankruptcy, Through the Looking Glass, with Barry Levine.
Welcome back to Bankruptcy Through the Looking Glass with Barry Levine. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're looking into the intersection of bankruptcy, digital privacy, and the surveillance age, from public court records to the rise of AI-powered debt collection. What should filers know, and how can they protect themselves? This is Bankruptcy in the Age of Digital Privacy and Surveillance. Barry Levine, sir, it's a pleasure. Welcome back.
As always, Evan, good to see you. Pleasure to be here.
Let's get down to this technology. You know what I mean? The world's ever changing. You've been in the game about 4.5 decades.
Well,
so
what started out with Pong and an Atari 400. I'm techno savvy.
Everything's all kind of data driven now. In this data driven world, what privacy concerns should bankruptcy filers be aware of?
I'm a firm believer there is no privacy.
Okay.
We can, I a number of years ago, I read so much about the deep, dark net, and social security numbers, how much they must be worth. And, I've been doing bankruptcy for a long time, and I don't listen, everybody. I have a lot of social security numbers. So I checked out the value of a social security number on the deep, dark net, 25 cents. It wasn't even worth thinking about. So it's, you're not old enough to remember when Monty Hall on Let's Make a Deal.
Monty Hall, my goodness.
But if you remember, he used to ask people $100 if you told me your social security number.
That's right.
I mean, how long ago was it that they took the social security numbers off the driver's license in Massachusetts? I mean, it's within the last decade or so. I mean, I don't think that, and then when you go into the cameras that are every place, it's bad enough I walk into my apartment, I see my picture on the app that opens the door. I don't think anything is private. The thing is, you have to be smart about it.
Right.
Don't be a schmuck when somebody calls you up and asks you for your social security number, or somebody purporting to be from the IRS calls up. They don't make those kind of calls. And if they do call, they give you the badge number, the name, and all this other stuff. It's like the scam, somebody just, they were scamming elderly people. They haven't called me.
I just saw that. That's the scam that's going on with the elderly,
the grandmothers, the grandparents, that your grandson, granddaughter is in jail and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
You just have to be smart about things, because I don't think there is much protection.
I used to watch Let's Make a Deal, the reruns with my family, but can you tell the kids at home though what that show is? Can you explain that reference to people?
Oh, Let's Make a Deal. Well, I think that Let's Make a Deal, Monty Hall, if you look him up on Wiki, was a classic game show host.
Yep.
And Let's Make a Deal was where he would call people up. They would dress up in all these weird outfits to get picked. And he would ask them questions and have them select unknown things, like you could choose between $500 or door number 1 or door number 2 and all this other stuff. And one of the things, like I said, was I'll give you $100 if you know your social security number. And the fact is, in the 60s, most people did it.
So wait.
Few people that,
So let's, on the bankruptcy side though, or like speaking of privacy, are bankruptcy records, the court records, are they public?
Filing a bankruptcy is a matter of public record. The only place they appear is on Pacer. And I don't know if anybody can access Pacer. I do know in Boston, there's a very, I think it still exists. It's a publication called Bankers and Tradesmen. And it's been for decades. It lists new corporations. It lists tax lien filings and shit like that. It lists bankruptcy filings, but they're about 6 months behind if they still do it. I haven't looked at it in years. But for the most part, somebody, unless you're telling somebody or, you're a high profile debtor for some reason, nobody's going to know. You don't have to wear a Scarlet B.
But what information
comes out? Not a bad idea.
Is it? What information comes out? Is it just that you went bankrupt? Is it anything personal? Is it
well, if you can access Pacer, everything is on Pacer because
Wow.
you talk about electronics. Well, the beauty of electronics for the bankruptcy court is I get to keep all the originals, and they get electronic copies of all the documents. So if you go to Pacer, you'll see the schedules, you'll see the statement of affairs, and all that. From what I recollect of bankers and tradesmen, I believe they would just list the name and the docket number, nothing more than that.
How do you advise your clients though, as far as protections? What identity theft, data exposure during or after
It
bankruptcy?
is to just be smart.
Right.
That's really the only step you can take. I mean, people leave their social security number in their car. I mean, it's Michigas. How do you do that?
Well, Barry, what if people aren't smart though? Barry, what if people aren't smart? You gotta what can they do?
Well, my mother always said, "Smart, smart, stupid." Yeah, you have to learn. I mean,
Yeah.
especially it's like, did you see that story the other day about these three young ladies who went into a fancy steakhouse someplace in North Carolina, and they ordered steaks that said MKT on it.
Mhm.
Somehow they thought that meant a discount.
Insane.
And when the steak came and it was like $80 a steak, they were shocked.
That's the market. It's the market value.
You think? So to me, it's like the sort of thing where sometimes you really deserve it. I mean, you have to, if especially in this world. I mean, you're going to talk about AI and all this stuff. You can't distinguish an AI image from us right now. We could be AI. Maybe I am. Who knows? But it's getting scary.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, you have to be smart.
Mhm. Absolutely. What about digital assets?
Well,
NFTs?
I'll tell you something else.
Please.
The other trouble a lot of people have is that, I happen to be old fashioned. If you have a claim against me, you can call me from today until tomorrow. I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
You can send me emails from today until tomorrow. I still don't care. Send me a letter. I'll deal with a letter. And too many of these people respond to a phone call. This guy called and says, I have to pay them. Who is he? Who are you going to pay? I'll give them my transfer information. I had a story with an attorney sent $350,000 into the Bozone at a closing. He got the wrong wiring information.
Wow.
They
That's
never found it.
crazy. That's crazy. Speaking of that though, you're speaking of digital now. What about digital assets? NFTs, domain names,
Digital,
online businesses.
domain names. I mean, I have domain names. You want to buy them?
Unless
Levine's.
if it's a really good name.
I'll give you a good deal. It's like my mother used to collect Hibble plates, and she used to, what they are, Hibble plates,
No, talk to me.
Yadros and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Got you.
And she would tell me how, they're worth this much and they're worth that much. And I would say, Ma, you have to find somebody to buy them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's worth buckus unless somebody wants it.
Absolutely
You
right.
know, and with Bitcoin, I mean, stuff like that, you have to keep remembering the code. I mean, that's the key thing. I mean, if you forget that, I got lots of stories. Guy came to see me. He read about this is about 10 years ago when Bitcoin was first starting to increase in value. He saw that it could make a killing on it. He decided to take $750,000 out of his 401k because he had read that if he puts it back before a year, he doesn't have to pay the penalty. When he had come to see me, he had forgot the code to get into his Bitcoin wallet. And you've read you're entitled to a certain amount of tries. And somebody wanted $300,000 to attempt it, not giving him a guarantee.
Oof.
And he was looking at, don't ask, the liability, but I never saw him again. I'm curious what happened.
I'm curious too.
But with anything else, it's like you have to, you know, you have to protect your assets and be aware of them and know them and see what the downside is.
Mm, mhm. So, what about courts, and trustees? How are they adapting to this digital property and privacy
Well,
control?
the only thing they're adapting to is, there isn't a specific question on the schedules at this point if you have Bitcoin, but in my opinion, it would come under financial, stocks or something like that. And they ask about it. And 90% of the people don't have it. It's like if you're a debtor in a bankruptcy, you have Bitcoin. Doesn't exist,
Mhm.
but they do ask about it. That's pretty much it.
What about AI tools? Should people be concerned of debt collection through AI tools, things like that, surveillance tech by
I tell you
creditors?
something, the other day I checked out a answering service that uses AI, and it will answer if the person's a new client, will take the information and set up an appointment, and you couldn't distinguish the voice on the phone from a human. And on Facebook now, there is some AI video. It's some woman that claims to be AI, the personage, and it's a commercial for lawyers. I mean, I find it very scary. You don't know.
I agree.
I mean, and I've been into science fiction for a long time. It's becoming science fictiony.
Listen. Gene Roddenberry, he was on to something, man.
Beam me up.
What steps can someone take though to keep that bankruptcy as private as legally possible?
Well, what usually motivates the filing of a bankruptcy, the one thing and it's usually a difference between husbands and wives, is if they have a house that's subject to foreclosure.
Mm,
Because I'm sure it's the same in most other states. In Massachusetts, uh, after they get permission to foreclose, they have to advertise in the local newspaper for 3 consecutive weeks.
mhm,
That's usually what they want to avoid.
okay.
So, and the only thing you can do to avoid that, because that's the only way word gets out, because somebody sees that notice in the paper. Now brokers start calling. Now people who like to buy distressed homes start driving by. It becomes a showcase. It becomes like a Fellini movie. Everybody comes going back and forth. The clown and the midget, and then that's really the thing that motivates them, because that's the only notice you can't stop.
Mm,
And if you file a bankruptcy before that gets, they're entitled to do that. That's, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, unless some people don't care. I mean, to me, I look at bankruptcy as a fact of life. What's the big deal? I
right.
mean, life goes on. You go through it. Most people don't lose any assets. They don't lose anything, and they're still there.
Mm.
But even so, it's keeps me busy.
Barry Levine, sir, thank you so much again for your time.
As always, looking in the camera, can't get this hand thing figured out. This
Listen,
is
I'm
how you
just
thank
just move him
everybody.
around.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen,
Crazy Eddie. We're
thank
giving
you
them
all for
away.
tuning in to Bankruptcy Through the Looking Glass with Barry Levine. To connect with Barry, head to levineslaw.com. Like, subscribe, leave a review if you found this information helpful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through bankruptcy. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.